Welcome back to another episode of the Matt Magic Show. If you ain't subscribed to Lando Sports Entertainment yet, what you doing? Well, you ain't been doing nothing all quarantine, so let's go. All right. So a lot of athletes go through a lot of like tough times. I know in Richmond, it's hard juggling student and athlete. The student always comes first. So it's a lot of late nights, a lot of workouts in the morning, before class, going to class, then working out again, then practice, then you got to go home, you got to study, you got to get everything done. And that's just high school. Next, like college-wise, it's a whole different level. You're on your own. You don't have anybody to baby you, hold your hand. Either you go to class or you don't. It's all on you. And that's where a lot of athletes, like it starts, the pressure starts to build with them, and they have to really like take a time out to get their stuff together. It's really hard too, but in the end, it's really worth it. But I got somebody, a very special guest on today that can really like explain to us and talk to us about her times as an athlete. We got Brianna Tillman coming on. If you don't know Brianna, she graduated from. Go ahead, you can sit right there.
Right here?
Yeah, so you get a little space. Okay. Yeah. If you don't know Brianna, she graduated from Richmond this year, track star. She signed to play or run track at Indiana Tech, and she also featured in her own chapter on the Positive Athlete, the book she has right here. So, Brianna, how you doing? Introduce yourself, man. Throw your hood up. Where you from?
I'll go to Richmond, and I'm graduating tomorrow, and I'm going to Indiana Tech to run track in the events of 400 and 200.
Okay. How does quarantine be treat you, though?
It's been boring.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
just stay home and go to track practice. That's it.
Yeah, okay. So, like, how you staying motivated through this quarantine? Because I know it's hard to fall into it's easy to fall into that trap of I'm stuck in the house. I don't really, not many places are open. Like, I know you can go to the track. It's more of an open space, but like workout facilities like weightlifting and stuff like that. How you balance that out?
I had to do a lot of body weight at home just to stay in shape, and I just thought about when I go to Indiana, I'm going to a school full of state champions just like me, people just as fast as you are, so I just had to use that to stay motivated.
Okay, that's real though, because I know for me, when quarantine first started, I probably didn't work out for like 3-4 days just trying to stay in the house because I tried to figure out like where I can go, what I can do. Like I did body weight stuff, but it was a lot of me. I fell into that trap of really not doing anything. But so like how are you staying motivated? Like how are you staying motivated? Like I know for you, you're a senior and you didn't get to have your senior year. You know what I mean? Like with track and stuff. And I know that's the case with a lot of seniors, college and high school. Like they got their senior year taken away from them. So I know that can be like kind of downing, that can really bring you down. You know what I'm saying? You lose some motivation, but how are you staying motivated with that?
I always have a positive attitude. I'm kind of is what it is kind of person. So when everything came down, I'm like, it came down for a reason. So I just stay motivated by working hard to get to where I got to be.
Okay. I feel that. Speaking of staying positive, though, can you give the people a brief synopsis of what the Positive Athlete is about? We'll get into your chapter later on. But what is the Positive Athlete? What is that book about?
Okay, so the Positive Athlete, it's a program they started maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And this program is where high school coaches, the athletic directors can nominate somebody to very positive in their community. So from each county, the athletic director will send in nominations. And so each sport, from basketball to lacrosse, everybody will get nominated. So they will vote, and they will narrow it down. So you'll be a region winner. So at first, you'll be a region winner. Then a couple of weeks will go by, and they will announce the state winners. And they will have a boy and a girl for each sport in each state.
Oh, so like you won it like out of the state,
Yes.
like out of the whole Georgia? That's tough. That's real tough. Like, so what do they go by? Like, what is the criteria? Like, what do they look for in an athlete?
So they want you to be a good athlete, but they also want you to be positive and very active in your community. So when I went to the award show, you'll find a lot of athletes that maybe started their own charities. They donated things to their clothes, or they just went to read books to kids. Everybody was doing something in their community to make a change.
Okay, so you did a lot of volunteer work. What's some places you volunteered at?
I volunteered at Augusta University a lot and Boys and Girls Club,
Oh, okay. What you playing with kids and stuff like
playing with
that?
kids.
Okay. Okay. So like let's get into your chapter of the book. Like what like explain to the people your chapter but your story.
So when I got to Richmond, I kind of came in as an underdog because Richmond had a lot of students that ran track.
Mhm.
So we were a fast school, so coming in as a freshman, it was a bit scary. I went in and I was really focused on I wanted to be the best. I wanted to go to state and track my freshman year, and I lost focus when track season started because in middle school on the weekends you had track meets. In high school, you might have a track meet Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, come back to school. So you might end a track meet at 9, 10 o'clock at night and have to be back to school at 7:30 in the morning, and that was really hard. And coming from middle school, I didn't quite know how to balance that, so I lost focus and my GPA started to drop because I wasn't going to class, or if I was going to class, I was sleeping in class, so I just wasn't being focused. So I wrote about that in my book to let students know that things happen and you can come back from that. The next year, I went back to school and I was a bit more focused, but I also I tore my calf, so I suffered from injury, so that was like hard mentally to come back to school, and I had to limp around school with a torn calf and think about am I gonna be able to run at state or am I gonna be able to run anytime the rest of the year. So that was hard, and I talked about just being positive, just moving forward, even though everything can be falling down, just continue to keep pushing. And even though I was injured and went through all that, I still was active in my community, going to schools, reading books, going to field days with kids. I was still active in the hospital, donating canned foods, distributing canned foods to the hospital. So you just have to stay positive, and being positive helped me get through the rest of my high school.
Okay. So going back to the part about that transition from middle school to high school where you said, you just had track meets on the weekend. How did that like was that like a wake up call when you were like, man, I got a track meet Wednesday and I got another one Friday? Like, did that take a toll on you mentally as well as physically? You know what I mean?
Yeah, in middle school, you had all week to prepare for a meet. I got to wake up that morning and just literally worried about going to the track. Versus when you're at school, you have to go through a whole school day remembering formulas from math class, carrying your books, walking around Richmond, a 3-story building all day long, and then going to a track meet, standing outside and running 5 events to each meet. That it was a bit much.
Yeah, I mean, Richmond is huge because them 3 stories that hurt when your class on the first floor,
Yes.
and then you got to walk all the way up to the third, and it's a lot of students there, so it take forever. So like, I'm already knowing, and then you get tired. You be ready for you got practice all week, all day, and then you got to go to the track, practice, go home. Ain't no telling how long practice gonna run. So I know like that adjustment period was crazy because like that's how it was for me as well in college. Like that adjustment period, like where we had 6 a.m. weights, and then like leave weights, go to practice, class, back to practice, and then like the best athletes, if you want to be the best, you got to outwork everybody. So the best athletes after practice, they stand for more shots. You know what I'm saying? Or in your case, like more reps or whatever your event is. So, and going back to the injury part, so how did you stay positive like through that torn calf? Like, cause like that's something you can't really run on. You know what I'm saying? So what like how did that your psyche like how did that affect you?
So I injured my calf the day before region. So that was the big meet that I needed to run so I can get to state. So that was mentally draining. So I had to go to school and stay on the first floor to get through my classes. And the whole day I was worried about my calf. And I ran on it, and that's when I tore it because I didn't know it was torn, and I ran on it, and it was bad, but I won my event. I won regions, and I knew that was it after I tore my calf. But my team needed me for the 4x1, so I went home and every night I iced, I massaged, wrapped it up, and I was able to keep running on it to get my team to state for the 4x1. So that was really what motivated me through my injury. Because if I would have said I'm done, my team wouldn't have been able to go to state.
Right, right, and that like that's an interesting topic because a lot of athletes, especially on the college level and professional level, they play through, or in your case, run through a lot of injuries, and like you ran on it and you end up making it worse, right? But honestly, if I was in your position as Regents, I'll probably do it too. You know what I mean? Like I want to win that bad. But one of the pieces of advice I give someone like you who's going to be like a big time athlete in college, you know your body. You know what I'm saying? Like you know if I can't go, like I'm not gonna force myself to go. Like because there's a lot of times where like a lot of programs they'll try to make you come back a little earlier. Like my program wasn't like that, but because I had a really good coach and I had a really good medical staff at Illinois State. But like it's some programs out there that's like they'll try to force you back, and like that could make you worse, and then you send out even longer. So like that's one of the things, especially with being a college athlete. That's one of the things that come with it. So, and I'm like a lot of community service that you doing, that's big time because like not only that, like after track or whatever, that stuff shows up on your resume for real. So it's like it's about building relationships, getting that out there and getting your name out there. But so how has this book like has it like have you met anyone who read your chapter and like they got motivated from it. Like they you inspired them. Have you met anyone, any kids, anybody like that?
No,
Not
so
yet.
this book is nationwide. So it's some stories from Georgia, some from New York, some from everywhere. So the book just goes everywhere, and it's in a lot of middle schools. So it just came out. So I don't think anybody's read the book, especially with the whole coronavirus. I don't think the book was able to like get to the schools.
Right, right. So like you brought two.
Yes.
You gonna sign one for me?
Yeah, I signed one for
All
you.
right. You got a pen? I need a pen.
Sure, we got a pen in the studio somewhere, but hang tight. Of course, we got a pen somewhere. Hang tight. But keep going in the meantime. Let's see that book real quick up close.
Let's see
Okay.
the book. Let's see the book.
And it's on page 240 something.
It's on which page?
240. Hold on, find it. 249.
249. Brianna Tillman, track and field. Big time. Big time, big time, big time. Oh yeah. I'm definitely gonna read this too. I'm definitely gonna read this. I feel like this is something that a lot of athletes should read, because it's about like, because sports, especially at like while you in school, that's a very hard thing to balance, because especially when you get to college, you got all night classes, you got labs you got to go to from like 4 to 9, and then you got to come back and you got to get your shots up somehow or get your workout in somehow, you know what I mean? So it's just a lot of time management, and that's one thing you're gonna learn. Time management. So we gonna you got a pen? Thank you. You gonna make it out. You gonna make it out to Matt Magic and Lando Sports and Entertainment.
Yes, sir.
I'm definitely getting that autograph from Brianna Tillman. Ooh, and your handwriting nice. Ooh, my handwriting trash. My handwriting is definitely trash. Oh, this me?
No, that's no.
All right, so my favorite time of the year, well, every 4 years is the Olympics. That got canceled. Man, let me tell you, all I watch is the track. All I watch is track and swimming during the Olympics, and I'm so sick it got canceled. And like, so you say you run the 400 meter relay, 200. All right. Do you remember when the women's USA team broke that record in the 400? Bruh,
Yes.
That is the fastest I ever seen somebody run. Like I'm like, yo, they moving fast as I don't know what. So like what are their, any of that, like their training, like what they do, like, because I know the average person can't run that fast. Like there's no way I'm running that fast. Ain't no way.
So I look a lot into the training pros and just collegiate training. Everybody training is different, but when you become pro, track becomes life. So
Right.
they get massages in the morning, they do pool workouts in the afternoon, they be on the track 3 to 4 hours, and a lot of people don't know track practice. Your warm up is an hour and a half, an hour. So you're out there for a long time in the heat, so you train a lot, and then you have to be cautious of injuries and overtraining, because if you train too much, you'll hit a wall and you just won't run fast anymore. So they train hard to be able to run that fast.
That's crazy, and you right about that hour and a half warm up. My little brother runs track. You know him, Bryce.
Yeah, Bryce.
Yeah, he runs track, and I go to the track with him. I'm like, all right, so what we doing today? Because I want to get some cardio and stuff in too. So I do his workouts with him, and like we'll run like 2 or 3 400s, and then he'll do he'll stretch his stuff first, and then we'll run like 2 or 3 400s. I'm like, all right, so what's next? He was like, oh, that was just a warm up. I said, a warm up? What you mean the warm up? We was out here for about an hour. I thought the workout was over. Mm-hmm. So he was like, nah, that's just a warm up. And that's crazy, because you gotta be like a top notch athlete to be a track runner, like top notch. Like there is no way I'm running a 55-second 400. No way. I give you a minute and 5. I'm not running a 55 seconds. That's like a sprint the whole time around the track, and that is crazy to think about. Like, what's the Olympic time for a 400?
Girls like 50:49.
What like, okay, so what's your time? What you got?
58:6.
58:6. That's still like faster than me. 49. That is crazy. So what's the men?
Men coming in like 46, 47, probably faster than that. They're moving fast.
46. Like, all right, so I want y'all to go home. If you can go to a track, please run a 400 meter and tell me your time. Please. Please. Because 46 is crazy. That is crazy to think about.
About $1.50.
About a buck. Bro, I'll give you a minute to 10. I'll finish it. But I ain't running no 45-second 400. That is crazy. You run a 200 as well, right? Mm-hmm. I raced my little brother in 200. I won. Oh. I won. But all right, look. This video we'll say 400 views. I'll race me around in the 200.
That's what's up. Consider it done. We'll get 400 clicks in the next half an hour when you upload.
So, if 400 views, I'll race her in the 200. So, any more shout-outs? Throw your hood up, whatever you want to do. Any more shout-outs? Shout-out to anybody?
No, thank you for allowing me to do this interview.
Oh, man, you already know how that go. So, Matt.Magic on Instagram, Lando Sports and Entertainment. Let's roll, friends.
Copy that. And we're out. Record. Pause.